And we are back for another March Madness Tournament of Champions group stage face-off. Today we have Dark Phoenix versus Black Widow. This is the build of Black Widow that Patrick Lenehan piloted in the Scoop tournament, and the Dark Phoenix build that was piloted by Ralph Edwards in New Jersey. Widow won the dice roll and opts to go first. On turn 1, Widow rows a helicarrier and gains the first experience, and follows up with the recruit of a shield agent. This causes the agent keyword to trigger, and after some deliberation, Widow ultimately will send the top card to the bottom of the deck. Widow declares an attack into Dark Phoenix, and with no response from myself, Phoenix eats a wound. Basic yellow location goes into the row. A second one is discarded from hand to what is, what was, and what will be, and Widow gets a turn 1 ramp. And then passes to Widow. Now, the cards that go into the row can be turned face up if they're locations, but unfortunately, half the Fing Fang Fooms in the deck both ended up in the row. On turn 2, Widow gains her second experience by playing a training ground and then recruits Kane. The only basic locations in the deck are training grounds, so that is of course what Kane is able to find while exploring. Widow then declares an attack into Phoenix, and Phoenix eats the second wound. Going into turn 4, a Valverdin Jungle makes its way into... turn 2, the fourth location. A Valverdin Jungle goes into the row. Keys is recruited. He targets himself and then uses the green basic location to freeze Black Widow. Dark Phoenix then declares into Kane, killing him, and Keys goes into Widow. Sorry about this glare here. This was the first video we tried to record, and I didn't figure that issue out until after this one. Savage Surprise comes from Widow's hand, which allows her to stun Keys back for a mutual. So Widow definitely should have been frozen there. I got robbed. She levels up when the third training ground comes into play. And then recruits Slingshot. This procs Agent for 2. And then Kane digs through the rest of the deck looking for another training ground. This training ground definitely appears to be buried deep in the deck. Considering the number of basic locations in the Black Widow deck, it's not that surprising at this point in the game, with 2 already showing, that he would have to dig relatively deeply. Black Widow declares an attack into Dark Phoenix. Phoenix responds with a dramatic entrance and a Jungle Hunter. This allows search for a basic location. And I come out with a basic blue Predator ship, which, while it's not necessary in this circumstance, does buff the Jungle Hunter. This wounds Black Widow back when the plot twist resolves. Kane then declares an attack into Dark Phoenix, which KOs Kane and puts another wound on Phoenix. End of turn, Slingshot returns to Joe's hand. I then recruit a Ghost. Apologies for the glare. And Ghost finds a net launcher. Trophy area is spent to net launcher Widow, and then Ghost attacks the shield agent in the back row. With no response from Widow, the shield agent KOs. Turn is passed. Joe rolls another red basic and then recruits Captain America. Cap flies over Ghost's head and punches Widow. With no responses, Dark Phoenix eats a wound. Phoenix rose a basic green location, Val Verdon, and then recruits Magneto and Mantis. Mantis is promptly suicided into Falcon to turn her into an additional resource, and then Magneto attacks into Falcon as well. A strategic homeland intervention causes Magneto to get stunned back. A blue basic is used to pay for Ghost with his net launcher to keep Widow locked down. Passive turn. Joe places a helicarrier into the resource row and recruits Slingshot. Slingshot gets a +1/+1 counter due to Captain America being face up, and that's followed up with a Loyal Soldiers, which drops green counters on both Slingshot and Captain America. Captain America again flies over Ghost and punches Dark Phoenix in the face, and again Phoenix eats the wound. Trophy area is placed into the row, and then Magneto is recruited again, this time alongside Kane. Top card is a blue basic location, so that goes to hand, and then the deck is shuffled. Ghost declares a ranged attack into Captain America. Cap KOs. Pay another blue to lock Widow out for another turn. Turn passes. Widow rows a 4th basic red location and recruits another Captain America, along with Fitzsimmons, who gets a green counter due to being inspired. Joe starts to declare an attack and then remembers Agent. Then back to the team attack. Cap and Fitz. And due to leader, Magneto has to hit Captain America back. So the draw this turn was not only another blue location, but another Magneto. So on top of being able to lock Black Widow out for a subsequent turn, there's a flyer protecting Phoenix again. This is recruited alongside another Mantis. The Cosmic Cube enters play on Dark Phoenix. I discard a yellow from hand to look at what Widow still has available and target Coulson. And at that point, Widow scoops.